Hey guys, what's happening? All right, getting a lot of questions about game changers, and here's my quick and dirty on this. I think, let me begin by saying is that if the 60 some odd percent of people in this country that are overweight, obese, diabetic, heart diseased, and at risk for all sorts of metabolic and life shortening illnesses decided to all go plant based, there would probably be a net positive impact. And that has to do with a lot of issues that are not as simple as meat is the enemy. If I was diagnosed with cancer tomorrow, I would probably go plant-based. If I wrote an article a while ago called Meatless Days, and it's about how this balance of longevity and fitness, health and fitness, needs to kind of take protein into consideration because protein is an anabolic food. And one of the reasons why modern cancer research can't cure cancer is because cancer is us. Cancer is a verb. We are all cancering at any given time. And it is when that cancering gets out of control that we actually get a diagnosis that there is cancer here. Okay, but all of us are cancering at any given time. And this is something to really, really kind of turn up your volumes for. If we are eating a high amount of anabolic foods all the time, we are telling our bodies to grow. We are telling our cells to replicate and multiply. And if we have a mild or small cancering and we are constantly feeding our body anabolic foods like dairy, colostrum, protein, eggs, those cells, because cancer is us, those cells are going to multiply. That does not make the food that caused the multiplication the cause of cancer. The cause of cancer is energetic, it is metabolic, it is mitochondrial. There are so many causes of cancer, and you should read the book Tripping Over the Truth by Christofferson if you're interested in this. But that's one of the big things about this documentary. Now, apart from anabolic foods, we have means of our body optimizing its own clean out. And that is, number one, fasting, autophagy, the body cleaning out cells that are cancering on its own or getting rid of cells that are not working as highly as they should be and operating. If we give our body periods of fasting, even if we're eating anabolic foods when we're not, we give our body a really good opportunity to clear out cells before they become problematic. Again, that doesn't make anabolic foods the enemy. Somebody that never takes a break from eating or that is eating many, many, many hours a day, eating protein at every meal, these are the problems. Now, if I have been consuming too much protein for too long, if I have not been fasting and I decide to go vegan or plant-based, I will have a period, and it can vary for everybody depending on how old I am, how long I've been eating a certain way, etc., of feeling amazing. Everybody feels great on a vegan diet for 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, right? Now, if you're a 60-year-old athlete or a 70-year-old cardiac patient, you should probably go moderately high-fat vegan. But that doesn't make it right for everybody. It's not the case. I think we need to grow an appreciation for what food is. My buddy Adam von Rothvelder on the podcast said, if you're going to play with science, you should probably know the science. And I think that's a brilliant thing that this documentary and a lot of people fail to understand, that there are foods that create the growth of cells. And this is why I think if we look at hunter-gatherer diets, they have up to 30% of their calories coming from protein and animal sources. Well, guess what? That is an annual report. That is an annual look at their consumption. But they don't hunt every single day. Their hunts are not always successful. The vast majority of the foods they're putting into their mouth on an annual basis are probably plant-based, because the women and the children and some of the guys are picking tubers, picking fruits. They're eating a lot of plant-based foods, but guess what? When there's buffalo in town, guess what they're gonna choose? So there are periods throughout the year, and this is what gets into kind of seasonal eating. When it's cold, eat a little more meat. When it's warm and the fruits and vegetables are growing, eat more plant-based. So ultimately, the pendulum is just gonna keep swinging. I don't appreciate, some of like the shame tactics. No one's arguing that processed food is not good. But the irony is they're actually arguing that bean burritos are the kind of path to longevity here and high performance, which I just can't imagine being true unless you have been in a situation for too long where you need a break from that real kind of abrupt anabolism, right? I think over the years we've been probably consuming too many protein shakes, so that pendulum's going to swing. But again, I think this documentary is contributing more to confusion than it's helping. I think we just need to understand that our body has a natural rhythm, and it needs periods of anabolism, periods of catabolism, periods of foods that are not anabolic, like plant-based foods, periods of foods that are highly anabolic, periods of heavy exercise, periods of less exercise. Ultimately, we just need to understand and appreciate the natural rhythms of our existence, of everything in nature. You know, leaves fall, leaves grow, waves crash, waves recede. Everything in nature is done on a rhythm, and until we grow an appreciation for that, we're not going to become healthy. And as long as we start trying to put all of our eggs in one basket, like we always want the waves to be in, we never want them to go out. We want everything to be up and everything to be down. Until we get rid of that kind of thinking, we're never going to get anywhere, and we're going to keep polarizing ourselves, confusing ourselves, and losing the same 10 pounds 10 times and having the same New Year's resolution every single year. So not surprisingly, the truth is somewhere in the middle, and depending on where you're at, will decide where you end up.